Buona serata, my little nenes. How is everyone? I'm good. I just got in from work a little while ago. It was a nice, chill, high-value night. Couldn't have asked for more. I've been let's see, this is my 5th shift in a row. Tomorrow's gonna be my 6th, and I'm spoiled these days. I am spoiled baby. I usually work 4 shifts in a row max, and maybe some weeks I'll do 5 shifts, but usually I'll have a random day off in there. And so yeah, I'm on my 5th shift in a row. I have been fairly even keel in my energy and mood, which is great. It shows that all of the round the clock self-help and spiritual work are maybe starting to take effect. I still feel fairly good. I still feel fairly energetic for tomorrow, and I could have taken a cut tonight. They offered to see if 2 people wanted the night off, and I went in anyway, and I did it, and now it's done, and we're here, and it was a good night, and I'm glad I did. Grateful to have the opportunity. And now we're here together to talk about our message for the first couple of days of the week, Monday and Tuesday. But also this message is the anchor message that kind of flavors the rest of the week. And I'm feeling this because our cards kind of parallel with my own personal reading for the week this week as well. And we are approaching Rosh Hashanah, which is at the end of September. And so from what I remember, the month leading up to Rosh Hashanah is this time of reflection and challenge, and we're thinking about, as we're rounding out the year in the Hebrew year, we're thinking about, and Rosh Hashanah is actually the birthday of all souls of mankind. That is Adam Kadmon, as in Adam and Eve's birthday, the day that it was supposed as it were, just go along with me on this, Adam's birthday or whatever. So that's where Rosh Hashanah is originated. And so we think about the head, the ego, and the fall of man was the separation of our direct connection without that veil of ego in the way, right? So we try to think about, the parts of us that we want to transcend and shed and transform, and the parts of us that we want to heal and correct and enhance and to be a beacon of the light, to be in this physical manifestation in this world, to be in the 3D, in the material realm, is a privilege. And we aren't here for nothing, to just, wander around. We have work. We have work to do with each other. We have work to do within ourselves and within the world. And so it's a good time of year to reflect on that, on what kind of year we want ahead for ourselves, and what kind of person we want to be, and how we want to, push ourselves and push the bar and push the envelope. So the weeks leading up to Rosh Hashanah are, times where we can reflect on that and take stock and check in. It's kind of that same vibe of New Year's Eve, when you're rounding out the year and you think about, okay, what do I want? How do I want to be? How do I want to show up this next year, right? How do I want to push myself? And so, yeah, we're kind of preparing for that. And it feels kind of right on time, because every year, the first week of August, at least, maybe not every year, but historically, the first week of August has been intense for me. My best friend was killed in an accident on August 8th several years ago, and then my older brother died on August 7th a couple of years ago. And, my relationship of 5 years ended actually the same week last year, 1 year ago. And so I'm kind of celebrating 1 year on my own, in my own independence, not having anyone else's energetic influence around me, and just being left to my own devices. And when I'm left by myself, I'm actually happy a lot. and I'm not very fearful, and I'm not very anxious, and I don't dread a lot, and I'm not like, I'm not too up and down. I'm fairly consistent. I do have emotional like ups and downs, and I have waves of things that have come up a lot because I've been processing a lot. I've been doing a lot of work digging into, all of that inner child work and all the subconscious patterning and everything, where I think a lot of us have been working on this together. And so I really think that we're starting to feel like it's actually taking effect. And like the Tylenol finally kicked in, people, and like things are starting to feel different. Like we're starting to build on solid foundations, which really lines up with, there's Lionsgate happening around this time of year, and the 8/8 portal was today. And I will be honest, I'm not completely 100% on Lionsgate, but I do know, and me and my best friend were talking about it earlier, that it is like a heightened energy, especially in regards to manifestation, which kind of tied into our reading today because there's a lot of fresh energy right now. It's that Leo fire energy, right? So I'll just jump into the cards because we're kind of like just braiding into that conversation anyway. So we've got Sanctuary from the Vintage Wisdom Oracle deck, and I do feel like we have this moment right now where we're just sort of cradled in this sanctuary, where even though it's been really intense and there's been a lot of emotional ups and downs and a lot of things we've been processing and a lot of major changes, a lot of people I've been talking to have been completely reinventing themselves over the past few months and this past year. And so it can be daunting, it can be tiring. And I think that we're just in a moment right now of feeling a sense of inner peace, like the depths of our heart in those waters have been so choppy for so long, but it's like the storm is finally calming and things are starting to settle. And so our life is kind of starting to settle down around us, and it's starting to open up this space, right? This sanctuary of space where we can feel safe and secure and comforted and nourished and even inspired again and motivated to create and to, rebuild and reinvent. So it's all very exciting. And so then to follow up, we got 5 of Cups, followed by 4 of Pentacles, followed by Knight of Swords. And so maybe it was actually like this. I try to like arrange them the way it looked to me when I was looking at them, but I always feel like it's reversed because of the camera when I'm looking at it here. Okay, so my impressions of this were that we are coming through major heartbreak and really healing from that. And maybe we're even finally healing from so many of the major heartbreaks that have happened throughout our life. I know none of us get out of life without having sorrow and disappointment and a broken heart here and there. And for some of us those have been very very devastating losses, and for others maybe not so much. Either way though, I think that if you're here, it might have been more on the devastating end. And so I think that we've just been carrying around this heaviness for a long time, and it's been accumulating over time. And I think that maybe the recent heartbreak opened up the heart, cracked you open, so that it could allow all of these other things that have been buried for so long to come forth for healing, to connect all the dots, because it's always all connected, really. It's all being stored in the subconscious, where the subconscious is going, and directing our sort of like navigation, right? It's pushing us in these directions because it's motivated by, the beliefs that it developed and the systems that it developed to protect us from all of this happening again, right? So we are finally feeling like we're coming out of this heartache, sadness, disappointments, things not working out, things not turning out the way we thought in so many areas of our lives. And we're finally feeling a sense of sort of control over things again. Things are kind of starting to feel balanced and secure. But be careful not to try to control, like latch onto this security by trying to control everything, like how you react and how, like every single thing you do, you want this certain sort of like response or result from it. Try not to start being controlling like that because you're afraid of heartache, because you're trying to avoid heartache again, right? You know, it's instinctual to want to protect this newfound security and inner peace, and that's good. We do want to be very discerning and careful with it because we value it. We worked hard for it. But at the same time, we don't want to try to live in a manipulative and controlling and in a way, because then we're really controlled by all of this sorrow and regret from the past still, and we're wanting to not be living in effect consciousness, but we're wanting to live in cause consciousness, right? And so we are letting go. Just let go. Let go of control, release, peace and release, let go, put it down, walk away, but also let go within yourself. Free yourself. Just be free. Let go, walk forward. Because I think that there is something that is trying to come in and it wants to come in fast. But right now, I feel like there's something here where we're trying to hold on and we're afraid to let go because we're afraid of the heartache. There's something we're still holding on to, and we're afraid to let go because we are afraid of the pain that we think that we will feel if we let this go. But there's some stagnant block in our life that is caused by trying to hold on and not letting this energy move or transform or change. And so once we do, though, I think that this energy wants to move in. Something is going to come in, some opportunity, something. But it can't until we let go of control and we allow the space and the void there to allow the universe to then, once we feel whole again, and we're not, being influenced by the sadness, we're not being affected by this, we're not being affected by all the patterns that come along with this and that have resulted in this. Once we are free of that and we're feeling whole and secure and stable and grounded, then the universe can really align us with something that's like truly authentic and aligned to us. Once we feel whole, then something else that is also in matching vibration that can resonate and stay will come and take the place, whether that is a career that you are, sad to leave behind, or a dream that you accept just didn't work out, or maybe, a relationship that you'd hoped for didn't go well, or, whatever it is. Something, maybe many things, maybe lots of things, maybe all of those things, right? So we are releasing it all, letting it just go. It's already spilled into the river. Let the river take it, right? Give up control and allow this new energy to come in. But take your time. There's like this energy is so raw and potent, and it's unrefined. And so if we're not careful, we can want to go in swinging very indiscriminately, like the Knight of Swords does. Sometimes he's so excited to get to it and so enthusiastic and so like gung-ho that he's coming in like all guns blazing, and he's like swinging around with like no like discernment or discrimination, So be careful to just slow down. There's this kind of building sense of antsiness, and with this fresh motivation coming in, we want to make a move, we want to do something, we want to make it happen, right? But we need to slow down and allow and let go of control, and be careful to, like, there's this renewed sense of confidence coming forth that comes along with this new stability and this, healed, broken heart. Um, but we want to make sure that, you know, with this boost of confidence and this feeling of up leveling and this new energy and motivation, that we're not arrogant, that we're not too quick or too sharp or too edgy. You know, just slow down. Don't be reflexive to respond. Allow space, allow for a pause. You know, don't send the text right away. Don't send the email right away. If somebody comes up and is like, excuse me, ma'am, don't immediately be like, whatever, like sometimes you feel like doing, you know, especially if someone comes up to you and you're not like, you're kind of in that closed off introverted space, and you feel like someone's going to come up and like ask you for things and you're like, you know, edgy about it. Don't be unkind. Just don't say anything. Just pause, because you don't know. They might actually be trying to help you or something, right? So just take your time. Allow yourself this space not to be reactive. So we're wanting to become like the light, and the light is eternal. And you know what? I had this thought today while I was in the shower, and I'm glad I remembered it, because I was like, please remind me of this for later. I think that people get this idea, this like cartoon character of God in their mind, where they're like these God-fearing people, and they're like, I don't know, to them they're like showing up and like trying to do what they're supposed to do, but they're doing it because they're afraid that God's gonna get mad at them and then spite them with his wrath. And it's like, God is not sitting up in like a throne, like paying attention to your every move and getting butthurt about the things that you do and being petty about it and vengeful and spiteful. Like, that is like God is not like what is like that like horrible reality show like The Hills. I mean, like, creator, divine force and source of all is this eternal flow, this unchanging force of giving and love and being and creation. And if we've experienced the wrath of God, it's because we ourselves have brought the wrath on us, because we have strayed from the path of righteousness. And that doesn't mean that we've become sinners and started drinking and smoking. Straying from the path of righteousness is like it's a reference about the tree of life, and about like our consciousness gets out of whack. Our priorities are out of whack, and we start getting like all flustered and like bent out of shape, and like we're not focusing on the right things, and we're not appreciative, right? Like on the tree of life, I don't have my visual aid, but I'm like, when I'm doing this, I'm talking about my map. But there's these governing forces, and they're all laid out on these paths. And so the path of the righteous is the central column, where everything has been brought into balance, and we've been able to balance the governing force within us, and we are aligned with like divine, and our consciousness is in flow. And so getting off that path would cause a bit of chaos, a bit of turbulence, right? So I was just thinking about that earlier, and I wanted to remember to talk about it at some point. So I know it might have been off topic, but either way, like, I needed to say it, you know. But so God is not affected by us. We are trying to be like God and be the cause, right? God being the cause is always giving. It's this beautiful machinery of the universe. And when we are functioning and our virtues are in balance, and when we have our consciousness aligned and we're in that flow, then we are able to become more of the cause and not be affected by the changing circumstances of life. Meaning that we're consistent on the inside, feeling secure, feeling certain, feeling connected to that eternal love, right? We feel held. We feel like no matter what is happening around us, no matter how challenging the circumstances look, things could always get turned around in our favor, and they could be playing out for our favor even though we don't understand because we don't see all the parts and pieces moving. So we're certain that no matter what, Creator can turn this around and use the whole thing in accordance with his plan, with, I don't want to say his anthropomorphizes, but you get what I'm saying. It puts you in line with divine plan, with divine order. Things can be corrected, things can be shifted. If you're malleable, right, the universe can work and move and do things, right? So the more certain you are, the more of that emunah, the more of that faith beyond reason that you have, the more easy it is for you to align with like the flow of divine like miracles, right? Because you're having affinity with the light, and you want that to be unwavering and unfluctuating and unchanging, because that's what eternal is, and that's what gives you that stable sense of serenity and heaven on earth, thy kingdom come. It's like the kingdom of heaven is within you. It's like you have to master yourself to be in a state of heaven, right? To inherit the kingdom. We got off on tangents, but that's good because they were good tangents. And I think that's it. I think we're complete for tonight. So remember that we are really healing from all of this sadness. And even though we are kind of thinking about things and things do come up, we're processing and we're allowing it to move through, and we're releasing and we're healing, and we're not holding on, we're not controlling, we're letting go, we're practicing radical acceptance of the circumstances in this present moment, and we're moving forward from there, right? We are appreciating all the stability and security that we have built and earned in our situation right now. And we are letting go of the sadness and the blocks and anything that is holding us back from all of this new energy that's wanting to race in very quickly. But we want to be careful not to be unkind, not to be sharp, not to be short with people. Pause, take your time. Don't be reflexive and reactive, and try not to be insensitive. Also, try to be discriminating and wise and discerning in your actions and how you proceed and in your comings and goings. Okay, guys? All right, enjoy a moment of sanctuary, even though there may be challenges or emotional moments through the week. It's growing pains, it's healing pains, and they're good. It's just keep letting it flow through. We're peace and release, right? Peace and release. All right, you guys, I hope you have a good day, good night, whatever time you're watching. Be good, but not too good. Ciao.